Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and today we're going to react to Is Being Fat a Choice? Fit Women versus Fat Women. This is Middle Ground from Jubilee.
If you see me, you consider me obese?
I wouldn't say that you're obese,
Okay.
but it's like medically, you know.
So like for example,
you're medically obese though?
No,
Yes.
I've been medically obese since I was like 12 and I was not obese.
Huh?
Welcome back to Middle Ground. I'm John. I host the Radical Empathy podcast, and I'll be moderating today's discussion between fit women and fat women. And a friendly reminder, if you are writing a hate comment, you are part of the problem.
Ooh,
Our first prompt
there it is.
Your physique is in your control. Will the agreeers please step forward?
She has a question.
I have a question. When you mean physique, can you specify like what exactly are you trying to?
I think physique is like the shape and size of your body. Why were you hesitating?
Because, you know, there's a lot of different illnesses around. So I have family members that have like thyroids and they can't gain weight or they can't lose weight. But I think that they can manage to stay at a place that's gonna be healthy for them. To me, personally, I do feel like I can be at a better place. I'm working on it and that's my goal, so.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that definitely people have ailments, there's different diseases and all that, but I think at the end of the day, what you can do, the best physical peak for your personal body is in your hands. You may not look like someone you want to look like, your ideal situation, but you can optimize your body to be the highest performance that you think.
Very well
When I
said.
first started working out, I lost 60 pounds, and that included just counting calories. I didn't have to work out as hard. I did the treadmill. I went at an incline, and I just walked the whole time, watching a movie and just walked. I just made healthier choices, and I've been mindful about what I put inside my body.
Like you put in that effort, right? You made those conscious decisions to walk on the treadmill, count your calories. You were super exact with everything, and that's how both of you guys were able to lose so much weight, right? So your physique is 100% in your control. It's just that nobody wants to put the effort in.
Just so we can invite the disagreeers, that's a great point to bring in our disagreeers. Whoever wants to pick up where we just left off.
So while of course there are aspects that I think you can control about your physique, I think there are more things that are out of your control. Like it is so much more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap. If I go to the grocery store and I just want to buy a bunch of frozen meals, that's going to be so much cheaper than me going and buying fresh produce and fresh fruit and everything.
I disagree.
Immediately. I disagree too.
Why do you disagree?
The prepackaged foods, the frozen ones, way more expensive. I've been on a budget, you know, eternally. I always save money by just going to the grocery store and buying ingredients.
I have no harm when I say this, but I'm not sure what side she's on. Like, is she on the fit side or the, I just like, why are we saying fat and fit? I get it. It's catchy. Or is she on the, don't shoot me down. I just don't ever want anyone to feel like I'm attacking them, especially for their physical, because physical is way less important to me than internal and how someone is. Anyway, I can't tell the lady in the red what side, I'm not saying side she is on, because she also was sitting on the other side in the opening clips. This, I think, is an argument that we've all heard millions and millions and millions of times, that the healthy food is more expensive than the not healthy food. The fresh food is more expensive than the canned food. If you look hard enough, that cannot be true. For example, in my neighborhood, we have, in the warmer season, a weekly farmer's market. Like, I can walk up the block and I can go get all my fresh produce for like $20. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I can do it on a weekly basis because we all know produce kind of goes bad quickly. So every week I buy enough for the house and then I walk over and I get more. And it is if not equal to, cheaper than. I mean, when you're buying these prepackaged things, you're paying for the packaging, you're paying for like all these things. You can get a bushel of spinach at the farmer's market for like $1. So though I get it that that's not a resource that everyone has to them, some people live in cities where there are no farmers markets and things like that. I think that if you wanted to find cheaper produce, you could at least look a little harder than just saying it's not available in my store, or, whatever the excuse is. So I do agree with this lady in the red on this specific topic. I also just want to say there's already so much compassion. The fit women are like, oh no, I agree with you. And you can just at least tell from the beginning that no one was really there to shame anybody, maybe, but we'll see what happens.
I agree with you on that, but I can go get a frozen meal sometimes for $1.50, $2, where if I want to cook a whole meal, depending on what all the ingredients I'm getting, that could be $10.
So you'll get more.
Right.
Yes, but still, you have to think from people who have no money, and they're thinking oh, I can get.
I've had no money. I've had $12
These are excuses.
for a week's amount of food.
These
I hear
are
both. I
excuses.
think that you definitely, in the short-term mindset, it is cheaper. You go to a fast food restaurant, they have a $1 menu. I think they've even increased the $1 menu now. So, which is
$2
crazy.
menu.
It's like a $2 menu. So that's valid, I think, but I think it's killing us in the long term. It's like that short dopamine effect, the dopamine where you're like, oh, I just need something right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
I also did want to, just touch on, other than food costs, there's also privilege when it comes to having time to cook stuff.
Definitely,
If you work a
100%,
full-time job, if you have kids and stuff, a lot of the time it's just easier. You don't have the time and energy. I enjoy cooking, but it's a lot of work sometimes, and it's much easier for me to just go through the drive-through. And then also privilege when it comes to your mental health.
Okay, using the word privilege is perhaps a bit much. I get the time concept. I totally understand that. But again, in my opinion, that is an excuse. If you want to make time, you'll make time for anything. Being tired doesn't mean you don't have time. Let's be clear on that. I can be tired, but I also have the time. What am I going to do with that time? Am I going to push myself through my sleepiness and exhaustion and cook? Or am I going to let my tired dictate my health? I think that is a very clear thing, right? I have a friend. I made a new friend recently. I just moved to a new town and I made a friend, and she and I started some New Year goals together. And one of hers was she is a working mom. She works a 9 to 5. She's exhausted. She's a new mom to a toddler boy, right? And she's wiped out by the end of the day. But she said to me, I'm going to make more of an effort to go home and cook or meal prep some days so that, I can just pop it in the oven. And everything doesn't have to be an elaborate meal, right? Some things can be just 15-minute meals. You can cook 15-minute meals. I mean it. I do it all the time. My rule in my house is I'm not spending more than 25, 30 minutes in the kitchen. I'm not doing it because I don't have the time. Do I have the time? Yes, but I don't want to spend all of my time in the kitchen making a meal. On Sunday, I might throw down and be in the kitchen for a little bit longer, but all of these things are possible. It is what you do with your said lack of time. Okay. They say over on Beyonce's internet, Beyonce has the same 24 hours as all of us, but somehow she can get a lot more done than some of us. It's just a saying. I don't want to hear how you feel about Beyonce. Take it somewhere else. But yeah, I just to say that is a privilege. Time is a privilege. I get what she's saying. I don't know if privilege is the right word. I feel like she's using that in a very gaslighty type of way. We all have the same 24 hours. What do you do with your tired 24 hours? Do you know what I'm saying? Can you shave off 15 minutes of your sleep time to make yourself a meal for the next 2 days? Or do you just decide, I'm tired, I'm going to Burger King? These are choices, and she's making excuses, in my opinion. And let me tell you something right now. I am thin. Naturally, I was born that way. My makeup is not because I work out. Okay, I want to be very clear with y'all. I am not a fit girly. I was into Pilates for a while, and then we moved, and now I don't have a Pilates studio anymore, but I have never, I hate the gym. I hate working out. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Anyone will tell you. So I'm not here advocating as a fit girly. I am just here as a mother, as a woman, as an entrepreneur with 3 businesses, as a wife with a husband who's on the road 50% of the time in our home life. I can find the time. I homeschool, like, come on, let's stop making these excuses and just call it for what it is. I don't feel like cooking, so I order Uber Eats.
When you are depressed, when you're struggling to even like get through the day, it can be really hard to have that motivation.
I understand
to eat
this.
well,
Mental health is a big
to
thing.
move your body and stuff. So for then when people are like, oh, well, why aren't you working out? It's like, dude, I can barely even get out of bed. So like, please stop with that.
I just wanted to say that I didn't step forward because I have PCOS and I just recently got diagnosed with it. So with PCOS, it's so much more difficult for me to lose the weight and control what I want my physique to look like. It's just so much harder. It's not impossible, but it is.
We can fix it.
It's something
and
that
we can
can
fix
be
it.
fixed.
PCOS, we can fix
Sorry
it. So.
to cut y'all off, but Brie, I just wanted to hear from you.
The question, like, your body is in your control, I just think it is not 100% in your control. To say it's like black and white, you can change it or you can't, is just crazy. It's just so nuanced. I really appreciated you bringing up the food access that you have, the knowledge access, your socioeconomic status. I go to the gym, I sit there, and I'm like, if only everyone had access and the free time to do this. I'm sure so many other people would love to do that, but people are struggling. They need to pay their rent. They can't just allot that time. They need to prioritize. And I think that's ultimately what is really sad. Everyone would love to take care of themselves.
I disagree. I'm sorry, I disagree. Like, there's some of us who are on the fit side that don't have that privileges. I wake up at 4 a.m., have a full-time job. I get it done. At the end of the day,
if you
it
want
doesn't
to,
matter.
you
I
will.
want to be the highest version of myself.
If you want to, you will. Who said you have to have a gym membership? The one girl said she walks. She walks. What are you doing during your lunch break at this 9-hour job? Are you consuming bad food? Or maybe you take a 15-minute walk and then you have a healthy lunch. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, where there is a will, there shall be a way.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I want to be the highest version of myself, the most evolved version, and she has to show up.
But your life allows it.
No,
Your
I make my life
She
allow it.
makes
I
her life
surround myself
allow
with
it.
But other
that.
people don't have the possibilities that you
They
have.
do. They just
Not everyone, no.
And I also think there's
You
something
need
to be
from
said.
different
What time are these people waking
Well,
up?
I also think too, like, let's say, for example, you're a teenager and you're like 500 pounds.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
work that you need to do to remedy that is ungodly. Like, that's really challenging. That's a hard
agree.
thing to do for
I
anybody.
agree.
As opposed to like me, I was really skinny and then I decided, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I put on my weight. The results are showing. It looks like I'm working super hard. I make these choices like, go girl.
Right.
But that is not the same accessibility that someone can make that change for themselves in different circumstances.
I agree.
So I
My
think
only
that is, like,
caveat is it's hard for both, but it can be done, is my point.
Right.
I wouldn't
That's
say
my
that it's
only
as hard
point.
for me as someone who's overweight trying to lose that weight. In my opinion.
But do you believe that it can be done?
I believe it can be done. I believe
Okay,
it can
so
be
we
done, but I
agree.
think empathy and compassion for the different circumstances
Oh,
that may
Lord.
stop someone from doing that is necessary. To see like, oh, get off your ass and like do all this,
No one said
which you're
that.
not saying, but I'm saying some
Nobody
people,
said that.
commenters
Myron's
might be
not in
saying
this
that.
episode.
Myron was the word.
There is a spectrum for your body. Our height isn't under our control, our fat distribution, our bone density, our muscle density, our metabolism.
I like
These are all
her.
things that make up who we are. But in that spectrum of health, absolutely, we can change who we are
Yes.
with what we got, right?
And then we'll stop right there and move on to the next one.
That was a good,
Body positivity
healthy
can promote unhealthy
debate.
habits. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Body positivity can promote unhealthy. The black girl's like,
Blind
I don't know.
body positivity can be harmful if it's just like always like, don't ever consider any possibility that you could change something or improve your quality of life. Just blindly accept yourself. I think that's where it can get kind of toxic.
I don't look like how I looked when I was 20. So body positivity is encouraging yourself.
Okay, I understand now. I think I was expecting the same format from the last middle ground that I watched where the men and the women went back to their sides. Here, no one is going to a side. They're just coming and sitting down when the prompt calls them to come sit down. So now I understand, like, but to be still completely honest, I'm not sure what side. I think the woman in the red dress is on the fit side because she is advocating for being fit and healthy. And fit looks like she could very well be more fit than someone that looks like me, right? Like I may have a more slender physique because of my natural genetic makeup, but she could have way more stamina, way more muscle, like all these things. I just, again, apologetically was not sure what side she fell on. Body positivity can promote unhealthy habits. I immediately thought of like Lizzo and how everyone came down on Lizzo because Lizzo was confident in who she was. I don't think Lizzo, to my knowledge, was ever saying like, eat unhealthy and be fat. She was just saying, I am a fat girl and I'm allowed to be confident being a fat girl. I'm not telling you to be fat, but I'm not going to go around hating myself because you don't like that I'm fat. I am fat right now. Maybe I won't be fat tomorrow. Maybe I'm working on it. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I want to be vegan today. Maybe I don't tomorrow. But I think people just were like, fat people being positive, it can't be a thing. And it's like, I think you can be positive with whatever shape and size, whatever weight you are. I do think there has been an unhealthy narrative with that has pushed, especially a lot of younger girls, to just be like, well, I don't need to lose weight because fat positive. You know what I mean? It was just like, are you healthy? Let's just talk about that. Are you healthy? Are you the best version that your body has to give you?
To accept you're going to transform eventually. When you're 40, when you're 50, you're going to get wrinkles, you know, all these things. So yeah, definitely body positivity should have taken another route instead of just saying it's for bigger people, because it's not. It's for all the variety of people that need to accept you're changing.
Yeah, I think the pendulum has switched to the furthest extreme. I think body positivity was created because there wasn't a space for people who could have acceptance in bigger bodies. And I think it's just gone to the furthest extreme now. And
like, women come in all shapes and sizes, right? And every woman is beautiful. And I think that you should really be confident in your body and the way that you look, you know, wake up feeling your best. But I feel like especially on social media and in society today, this body positivity movement, I've seen like multiple times where there's like obese women.
She's
promoting
so tatted up.
body
I thought she had
positivity.
pants on.
And it's like,
or like
I
lace
wouldn't
leggings.
want, like, my
What's
kid.
obese for you?
Like an unhealthy lifestyle.
No,
like
but
overweight.
what do you mean what's obese for you?
Obese, like for
for
medically
me,
obese.
if you see me, you
What's her
consider
range?
me obese?
I wouldn't say that you're obese, but
Okay.
it's like medically,
So,
you know.
so like for
So
example,
you're medically obese, though?
No,
Yes.
I've been medically obese since I was like 12, and I was not obese.
Well, does anybody here?
So
would anybody
I don't
here
understand what
explain
she means
they
by
mean
that.
medically obese. Just-
Exactly.
Like
BMI.
It's BMI,
like
right?
when you go to the doctor's
Yeah.
office and you get weight on a scale and they'll tell you, oh, you're a little bit overweight, or they'll say you're morbidly obese, you're
Because of your
whatever
height,
these things. So
everything.
like if you look at me, you would be like, oh, she's a little plus size, but I am technically considered obese.
So
by my doctors.
And I was obese at, I think it's 30 BMI. Now the BMI, have come to learn that it's a little bit tricky now.
right, it's not the most accurate.
Right.
But that's what it's.
So
based
she's
on.
lost
Right.
weight.
So
She
correct.
used to be
But now
overweight.
that,
Got it.
when I was a size 14, I was considered obese. It's smaller than we think.
I think an obese person, and
Right.
this is not, calling absolutely anybody obese, but I think a person that can be considered obese will not be able to go on walks. They will lose their breath. For me, because I am a person that I'm big, but like I said, I'm still able to go on hikes and I won't lose my breath. I can go on runs. I can exercise. So if for the
you're-
doctors I'm obese because of the
Yes.
size and the stuff that I
Yes.
am, for the doctors,
Yes.
for me, it is not the way that it works, because an obese person, I've had friends who are skinnier than me. We go on walks and they're losing their breath.
So for you, obesity,
But that's, I'm not like, this whole technically I'm obese. It's like you can say I don't feel obese, but the definition of obese is what it is. Medically, I think there is a spectrum. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like they said, you can be a little overweight, you're obese, you're morbidly obese. And there might be some terms in between. And I've talked about this before. I have two family members that are morbidly obese and have had the bariatric, I said geriatric last time I talked about this. It was just so funny because bariatric surgeries to help them control their portions and, all of that stuff. But because you don't feel obese doesn't mean you're not obese. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? I just don't understand this argument.
Who are skinnier than me. We go on walks and they're losing their breath.
So for you, obesity is just the
stamina
of how physical you can be. For you, it's not a physical manifestation of the body.
What the doctor, when the doctor says that bad word, it's he's looking on a chart,
right?
Versus saying
it's science.
How many people have been bad diagnosed?
But listen, he's not saying you're ill and you can't walk up that hill.
I've had doctors say that to me.
You go, I have that.
I've had doctors
I'm
say that
obese
to
and
me.
I can still walk up that hill. And that's
right.
what's
That's the
fabulous about
reality.
it, right?
That's
it
the
doesn't
reality.
automatically mean you're ill, but also down the road, absolutely it's going to mean you're ill. You're lucky with your genetics currently. Down the road, it's not going to be the same
but
story.
But this is the thing, you think they're genetics, but since I was really young, I'm active. I'm an active woman.
I never said you're not active.
No, I know, but I'm just responding to what you're saying. I know you're not saying that I'm not active. I'm responding to what you're saying about the doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I have had doctors tell me that.
Tell you
but
what?
she's not telling you
that.
that.
I cannot exercise, that why am I not exercising, why am I not doing the effort. There's doctors that have bad diagnosed me for things that I've never had. And I've gotten medicated for things that I've never had. So it's like,
right. Well,
it's different.
They're killing us too. So
we went down a tangent from that.
So I think what I'm understanding is the lady in red, the lady in the red dress, formerly was obese and probably clinically obese. And what I like about her argument is she did whatever she did, the work to lose the weight. And she is basically saying, like, you can be obese and have good stamina. You can be obese and be able to walk a hike and not lose your breath, but you're still obese. You're obese and you're doing it. Like, I just think this young lady is blocking out the truth so that she can, like, justify however she wants to live, in my opinion.
I want to.
Oh my God, you've been
we're
standing
talking.
I know she has been standing over there
talking
for
about
so
body
long.
Positivity, whether we think it promotes unhealthy habits. We're going to bring in our disagreeer.
Oh my God.
And then continue the convo.
Poor girl.
So I didn't step forward because I really hate the toxicity that has come from people being like, oh, body positivity promotes obesity and blah, blah, blah. I hate that so much. I think there is like the minutest people who are doing that. The vast, vast majority, I do not think promote obesity. Body positivity, to me, is just loving your body, accepting your body how it is, and not hating yourself. Like, you shouldn't have to wake up every day because you're 400 pounds and hate yourself. Like, I don't think anybody should be hating themselves. So that, to me, is what body positivity is about. And it's also about equality in how people are treated. Like, for example, Lizzo gets called out so much on like, oh my God, she's out there with her ass and stuff. Like, it's so disgusting. But Chappell Roan, who, God, I love Chappell Roan, was at Gumball and came out as Statue of Liberty and had her ass out. Did not see a single person online saying, so why does she have her ass out? It's like, it's a double standard. People inherently hate fat bodies and don't think they should be seen in society.
I actually disagree
Somebody's
with
stomach
that
was just
because I
growling
do
on the
see
mic.
people
Did y'all
hating
hear
on
that?
Chappell Roan for the way that you look.
I was going to say that. I'm sure there were think pieces about Chappell Roan coming out as the Statue of Liberty with their ass out. I'm sure there were tons. She just didn't look for him, so she didn't see him. But I understand her argument, right? It's like, how come fat bodies are shamed when they are not covered up in a way that smaller bodies are not shamed when they aren't covered up? And the truth of the matter is that people find it more acceptable one way than they do the other. That's just the truth. Is it right? I didn't say it was right or wrong. I'm just telling you what the truth is.
And her outfits, and there's going to be hate on both sides.
Oh, of course, there's going to be hate, but
I
I meant like the volume of hate that Lizzo gets compared to Chappell Roan. Like, I would say, like, it's much smaller. Like, you constantly hear about, like, Lizzo.
I agree with her.
Lizzo, and,
Lizzo is the poster child for this.
Lizzo. Okay,
Always
one of
comes
the
back
few,
to Lizzo.
one of the few. Okay.
She's lost weight too.
I know.
She's lost a lot of weight right now.
One of the few times I saw her streaming, she had this gorgeous cake was gifted to her. Enormous. Went in with it with a fork and was eating constantly and talking to the camera while she was streaming. Wow. The volume of the cake that she ate, I just went, oh my God, how many people are watching this? This is absolutely, it was a horrible representation. I hated every moment of it. What do you have to say about that?
Well, my question would be, if there was a thin person doing that, would you have had that same reaction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think it's more about, like, she's not promoting obesity by eating cake on camera. She's just, eating cake
But
on
if
camera.
if she's the representation of body positivity and she's behaving this way, is that promoting
Have
a
you
negative
noticed
light?
that she just posted a video that she lost weight? Like
No,
that
no,
was-
absolutely
oh,
don't.
yeah.
I
She just
absolutely
posted
not.
a video
I
and she
absolutely
lost
did not.
weight. You can see the difference.
Because I don't want her in my algorithm.
So it was just probably that one day that
Dang, she hates
but that
Lizzo
doesn't
that
identify
much.
her as a whole person.
Yeah, in defense of
I mean, Lizzo probably, let's be honest, was doing it for streaming views. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like, she probably was. There's a point, I think, where Lizzo was feeding into the narrative because she didn't know what else to do. She's like, fine, y'all want me to be this big sloppy fat girl? Fine, I'll play into that and I'll take your money while I'm at it. But Lizzo has recently reemerged after all of the legal stuff she went through, and she is in beautiful shape. You know what I mean? Like her body is evolving, and I don't think it's about getting smaller. I think it's about getting fit, and you can see her body is changing in that way. Maybe she hasn't lost a ton of weight and she's not like super skinny, but you can see like she's got muscles, her face is more defined, like but there also was a point where she was only eating vegan food and she was also just sitting there eating that too. So it's just like, I think in Lizzo's case as a celebrity, sometimes she was trolling and fanning the fire, and but in her most private moments, I think she did always really care, and it was just really hard for her to navigate that space. That's my opinion.
Lizzo, not a sentence I want to read.
What did she
It's
say?
just probably that one day that you saw her doing that, but that doesn't identify her as a whole person.
Yeah, in defense of Lizzo, not a sentence I want to read. In defense of her, I have seen her post like, oh, here's a green smoothie that I got, or here's me with my salad, or like, here I am at the gym. I think there is this weird stigma where people that are overweight have to be perfect all the time. They can never just like, just have a cake. And I agree it's gorging. I agree it's not great. Listen, I'm not saying that's great.
That was
Not
too
great.
much.
But I'm saying that like this one instance of her doing this amidst all her other ones of her trying to be healthy.
Can I go on the opposite side of that, like with Lizzo? There's like Eugenia Clooney. She's
I
a
love
very
her
petite,
shoes.
tiny woman. Why are people saying, "Oh, good job, Lizzo"? Like, good job for eating healthier. But like when Eugenia Clooney's like trying to eat something, like
But is Eugenia Cooney allowed to have hashtag body positivity?
she does sometimes. So
Is
she promotes herself literally wearing like tiny
Because we're-
outfits, showing her body.
That was my whole point. Is like these extremes are hijacking it.
Yeah,
I agree.
think,
They're not
like,
good representation.
Yeah,
No.
that like the algorithm, they will push out the most extreme cases because they get
Right.
the most views, and
Right.
that's what people want to see.
Yes, it's dangerous.
Including these conversations. Although this was pretty reasonable. All right, let's reset.
No matter who you are, there's no denying that injuries can really put a damper on
Oh,
your
it's a
everyday
commercial. I'm
life.
like, huh?
Seriously, being injured when I'm trying to hit a new PR legit sucks. Luckily, there's people out there who can make your life easier.
All right,
Largest
y'all know
influence
I
thousands of
usually
big
watch commercials, but I'm not watching no Morgan & Morgan commercial. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. All right, I've taken a weight loss drug.
Agreeers, please step forward.
Now wait a minute, she's sitting here doing all this hooping and hollering. All right, let me let her talk. I'm just saying okay. All right.
He's perfect.
I'm like trying to see like what do we define as drug?
I think we're talking about the
Ozempic
Pills
situation.
wait, well, any
Like diet pills?
drug that you've taken.
He's like
Sorry.
drug, guys. Any drug.
Yeah, come on in. Let's hear your story too.
I have used weight loss drugs before I knew the power of them in college, and that you could get them over the counter, but they were incredibly strong and probably needed to be controlled at that time. But I was just so obsessed with my body size. I've pretty much my whole life, and that's just the culture, American culture that I was raised in and lived in, and so I would try drastic means, and I've done things that would just get you super wired. Even as an adult, once I figured out how to eat, I gained the weight back during the lockdown, like a lot of people did. And I go, gosh darn it, I was so upset. And I took a prescription weight loss drug that was prescribed by a doctor, and I was able to drop the weight quickly. I used it as a biohack. I used it short term just to get the weight off, because once the weight is off, now it's on you.
It's on
you have
you,
to know
okay.
how
So
to
this
eat.
is more recently.
Yep, and this is absolutely recent.
Was
too.
it like Ozempic, something like that?
Phentermine. You can get it prescribed. It's a
Phentermine?
controlled
I've never
substance.
heard of it.
It's hardcore, but it takes the thought process out of your mind. That thing, that monster that always tells you you're gonna get your next serotonin kick by that food, and you're hyper-focused on eating, and it takes that monster, it stops talking. So now,
Okay, so to my understanding, she has has had bad relationship with food, and she is saying she took this medication to basically help her control the need to binge or eat unhealthy, or just the obsession of weight in its entirety, and help her lose the weight so she can just focus on now maintaining her new weight, is what I'm understanding. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't have a leg in this conversation. I don't know enough about the weight loss drugs. I know it is a hot topic right now. I will never pretend like I'm someone who struggled with my weight on the losing weight journey. I have struggled and had insecurities about how small I am when all my other friends are super thick, as they like to call it, or, I've always been the small kind of boy-shaped girl. It has served me well, I guess, in the long run, because I'm still small, but now I've got some womanly curves on me. But I would never pretend to know the struggle that women go through with being larger, or just really struggling being a size that isn't socially acceptable. And so with the weight loss drug situation, I think to each his own. If you're consulting a doctor and a doctor is overseeing it and it is what you want, then you have every right to do it. I don't know about the promotion of it. Again, I don't feel this woman is promoting it. She didn't even want to say the name of it. I think she's just telling her story. But, I know what it would feel like coming from me to even point a finger at this. I don't know the struggle. I don't know it.
when the monster stops talking, you go, I can control this. I can make changes in my lifestyle in order to make healthier decisions to keep the weight off that I just lost with this drug, and yeah.
I was so desperate to lose weight. I was like on TikTok scrolling through, and like they were sharing like, oh, this drug does this and this is that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just blindly buy this thing, and showed up at a horrible time.
Do you know what kind of drug it was?
It was a pill that I took, and it like suppressed my want to eat food. But it also like had some really bad side effects. Like when I would eat, I would feel sick after. And I realized like, oh, I'm feeling horrible all the time and having this energy low and like just feeling physically sick.
How long were you on it?
I was on it for 2 months maybe.
Did you lose weight?
I lost some weight, but as soon as I got off of it, I gained all of that weight back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what to do once you're there.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly. It was like the crutch, and like you just relied on it so much, and then once it was gone, you had to do your own thing, and
you have to figure it out.
You had to figure it out, and the pill was doing all that for you, and then for me, I gained more weight than I lost when I was on it.
Let's bring in
That's
our
crazy.
disagreeers.
So I've heavily considered taking Ozempic, but I've decided not to because you either have to stay on that drug long term to keep those effects, or if you get off of it,
I didn't know that.
most people are gonna gain the weight back. So I'm no longer interested in anything that is not a complete lifestyle change. Like for me, I have learned over the years that I would prefer to be fat and happy than thin and miserable. So like right now, I'm just trying to, eat less processed food, stay away from like sodas and stuff for the most part. But I will never count calories, like, or because to me that leads to disordered eating habits.
For you?
For me personally, yes. I'm not talking for everybody. I'm not talking for everybody, but for me personally, and I do think for a lot of people, it can lead to disordered eating.
Kind of circling back to the topic about taking weight loss drugs. Hell no, I would never take no weight loss drug. I worked really hard for my body, and I'm like a very big believer in that phrase. Like, if you wanted to, you could. Wouldn't you be so much happier if you lost the weight and you look back on it and it was like, yeah, like I did that.
Exactly.
You know, like that was 100% all me. I didn't need no help. I didn't need no cheat codes. Like, this was the work that I put in, and I got the results that I wanted.
And that was the mindset that I wish that I had before I took the drugs.
Yeah.
Because like I was super naive. I was like 18 years old,
Right.
and I had no knowledge about anything. And I was looking for a quick fix because all these people were telling me, "Oh, you need to lose weight. You need to do this." And that was in my own household. So it was my family telling me this, along with my friends and everything like that.
It's a lifestyle change ultimately. These are tools that you can utilize, but if you are not changing your lifestyle to go with it.
Which is what I think the lady in the red dress is saying is like, don't take these drugs if you're not ready to do the work to change your mindset. While the drugs are working, you should also be working to change your lifestyle if you use them properly, is what her argument was. And so, you know, like the girl said, she was young, she didn't have a concept of that. She would have like maybe had more education on it. But if you're just using the drug to do all the work and then you think, okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to keep this weight off without doing any of the work, I think perhaps you will find yourself in this situation.
What will happen for
Right.
And so I think that's really ultimately what it is. If you're not ready to
100%.
commit to the lifestyle change, using these tools is not going to help you.
When people do these quote unquote shortcuts, a lot of the time, like mentally, they're not there. So they lose the weight and then they're still like.
Not fixing the problem.
Exactly. It was like, it was this quick fix, and now that it's, you know, they get off it, like everything mentally, like that they were at when they were at a bigger weight is still there because
Like-
they didn't put in that mental work, like doing it on their own.
For example,
we gotta reset. I'm getting the signal.
You're talking too much. Shut up.
Fit women are more attractive than fat
Uh-oh.
women. Will the agreeers please step forward?
At least she's being honest. I feel she's being
I'll
honest. This is
definitely
her
agree.
honest.
Fit women are more
That's her
attractive
opinion.
than like plus size women, only because me having this body, it shows that I can commit to something, right? And it shows that I'm hardworking. So I feel like men looking at my body can see, oh, okay, she's dedicated. She put in the work, and that could be an attractive quality that men see in me. I would definitely go for like a more muscular guy. So that kind of shows that we have something in common, something that we can work on together.
So gym dates.
It's a
Yeah,
hot
gym
topic.
dates, for sure.
It's a hot
Thank you.
topic.
Can we bring in the disagreeers?
I feel like I'm gonna get flamed alive right now. It's all good.
I'm bisexual, so I
Hey,
love
girl, me
women.
too.
I love women.
Yes, all the bisexuals.
I think that all women are beautiful. I've had relationship with women that are fit, that are not fit, variety. And I can tell you that personality-wise, the skinniest ones and the most beautiful ones have had a personality that I cannot work with. Me, personally, me. So,
Yeah.
and it comes from a place that the way that I grew up, the way that they grew up, thoughts, minds, you surround yourself with people that you like, that is like you. Your personality has more beauty than the way that you look.
Your physical looks will disappear. My grandma, she used to be a very petite, tiny woman, grew up in the Philippines. My grandpa the same way.
Okay. The young lady, the one who stood up and said that she thinks fit women are more attractive, she didn't say fit women are more attractive from a, like, I'm prettier than you. She said a man will look at me and see that I'm dedicated. A man will look at me and see that I care about my wellness and my health, and I think that is an attractive attribute. I want to be clear on that. She did not say a man is going to look at my body and desire me more. She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She said a man will look at me and see that I am committed to myself and my health. And those are the type of things that men look at when they look at a woman and think long term with a woman, right? Or whatever that is. Like, okay, this type of woman, I know she cares about her body, so then she'll care about her children and their health. You know what I mean? Like, that is what she said, and I think that is what she meant. They are now taking this and using the word attractive as in like physical desirability. I don't believe that is what could have been how she feels on the inside, the one lady, but it's not what she said. And I think we're going to get off topic really quickly if we're talking about what she said. The question is, fit women are more attractive than fat women. And attraction is on a spectrum. Attraction is relative to who you're asking. Some men are attracted to physicality. Some men are attracted to brains. Some women are attracted to finances. Some women are attracted to a man's educational track. You know what I mean? There's a spectrum of attractiveness. So I think this question is just meant to be divisive, and it's fine. It's going to start the conversation. But yeah, I don't know. This question is a little spicy to me. All right, let's keep going.
Now they're a little bigger, they're more comfortable. 50 years later, still in love.
yeah.
My grandpa always makes jokes. Like, when I remember growing up, he was like, this is Burger King and this is McDonald's. I'm the king and I'm loving it. I'm like, that's my grandpa. He showed me, like, you can appreciate a woman for all the stages, you know? Like,
Exactly.
And that's why I love, like, I could be, once I get skinny, like, my boyfriend can still love me, but maybe he loves me more because how I am personally.
I think people like
Okay, I also want to say, the girl in the red who talked about being bisexual and dating women, she said prettier women, right? Prettier women in relation to them being skinnier. This lady just said, once I get skinny. To me, what I'm hearing is that all of these women equate beauty to size. Which and then should tell you something, right? Like if even the larger women feel like beauty comes with a smaller frame, I don't know. I just, they're kind of like admitting that they wish they were smaller while also trying to say that being big is, I don't know. I'm not trying to say I don't think any of them have said like it's okay, but I don't know. I just, let me reel that back. I think it's interesting if you caught that they both kind of equated beauty to being thin. Right? But then they stood up and stayed back for fit women are more attractive than fat women, which they're basically saying that's not true. Fat women can be just as or more attractive than fit women. But then they're both showing that they believe that physically smaller women are beautiful. Am I the only one that feels that way? Am I the only one that caught that? Let me know.
be like, oh, it's always going to be the fit woman is more attractive than the plus size women. I just don't think that's true. Like, there's a lot of beautiful fit women. There's
She
also a
lives
lot of
life
not
with
very
rose-colored
beautiful ones.
glasses
You know
on.
what I mean?
I can't deal with
Assume
her.
that size
Her
will
little
always
pink
equal
workout
more
set, it's so
attractive.
cute.
I just think is like silly. It's
They're
a
healthy.
case-by-case basis.
Because I'm more on the healthy side.
Well, you can be
But
thin and not healthy.
yeah,
Let's be
yeah,
clear.
yeah, exactly.
But
You
the
can be
biggest
thin and
issue
not
I have with
healthy.
what you said, I disagree with you. I think as a fit girl as well, fit girlies, but I still disagree with you because there's beautiful women who are in bigger bodies. Like, I feel like it's an arrogance almost to be like, oh, because I'm fit, I'm more attractive. Like that's,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And the biggest issue I have was what you said about men being attracted to you more just
It's
because
like the male
you're
gaze,
fit.
right.
I think that that's basing your worth on a man. And
The
I'm
male
married, as a
gaze.
married woman saying that, I just don't understand what that has to do with the principle of just physical attractiveness. That has nothing.
She said those attributes, a man will look at me. Listen, men out of any species, they using what they seeing before they do anything. And you're gonna look at a fit woman and you're going to see that there's a long game there, right? Like she cares about her health. She'll be around for a long time. She'll be able to take care of me. She'll be able to take care of my kids. This is what men think about. She did not say a man will desire my body and my face, and maybe, but that's not what she said. And I don't like that they're turning that against her because I really think what she said was smart. She didn't use it as a like pretty girl thing. She used it as like a man will see that I mean business, that I am strong, I am healthy, I care about my fitness, I care about my body, I care about my well-being. Therefore, I'm going to care about everybody around me. And I will make sure our lifestyle is that. I don't know.
Nothing to do with if someone else deems you as attractive. It's like just solely based on the physical. So I 100% disagree with you.
I was debating actually stepping forward because of just what society has taught me my whole life is like, thin is more beautiful, thin is more beautiful, thin is more beautiful. And I've really had to work on unlearning that like for so many years. When I was like, 19, 20, I was like, oh, the reason I'm not in a relationship is because I'm fat. Like I need to
I don't
lose
even
weight,
think this
and
girl is
then I'll
fat.
become in a relationship, then someone will love me. And I thought that for so many years. And like my self-confidence was like down here. And I really had to work on unlearning that. And I'm still trying to unlearn that.
I don't know medically what she is categorized as. I don't look at this girl and think that she is fat. I do think she can learn how to dress for her body better. I think that is a huge thing. And when you learn your proportions and what looks good on your size, this big white flowy dress, she's a busty girl. And a lot of times I think people would like look at busty girls and think they're a lot bigger than they are when really just their bust is big. But I don't think Could she lose weight? Sure. I'm sure she could if that's what she wanted and that's what the doctor told her to do. But I think a lot of times people really, really discount how changing your dress for your body shape and your proportions can really change the game for you and your confidence. And I'm talking about you, not how people see you. I'm talking about you, right? Like this flowy situation she has on, it's not for her. It's not for her. She shouldn't be wearing it. It's not good for her. Like she should have on something that is flattering to her body. That is just me adding that in there because especially in this day and age where there are so many brands and size inclusive, price inclusive opportunities to just wear something cute and simple but still look good, like help me help you. I don't know. I just threw that in there. It had nothing to do with what she said.
I have learned over the years that people are attracted to different things.
Right.
So if you ask one person, they're going to tell you, oh, this is what I'm attracted to.
Right.
And if you ask someone else, they might have a completely different answer. So I think
there are men who
is
are
subjective.
keeping
I think
their
when it comes
women
to
overweight.
Society 100% says skinnier is better.
I mean, I hear a lot of what you're saying, but I'm curious, anybody want to share, like, what is the type of body that you're attracted to?
To men, on men, other, or
Well,
the
I don't know.
opposite?
There's people who are attracted to So whether it's men or women, what kind of bodies are you attracted to?
Because I've been smaller and bigger. I am tall. I already am eliminating a majority of people because I'm one taller man than me. But you know what? Somebody on your show, Zach Miko,
Was that the tall guy?
it was the model.
Oh, yeah.
The plus size model, he was
Yes.
cute.
So
Unfortunately married.
So it's like
That's her type.
I have
Zach.
dated some fantastically gorgeous men, but when I feel most comfortable and myself and I can feel just kind of let it all out is a guy that's has some cushion. Gym people for gym people. And, and that kind of seems like unattainable, not my vibe.
No, I appreciate the specificity. If anyone else wanted.
So I do have a type, but also like I've never dated before. So I'd say like my type goes from
She's such a pretty
my type goes
girl.
from like Prince Eric to Fluffy.
Who's Prince Eric?
Yes, the comedian Fluffy. I just feel like I could like hug him. Like he would give the best hugs and be like the best person.
It's a very
Like,
wide range.
She seems like such a sweet girl. She's really pretty.
A lot of infinite.
She seems like she'd be so like loving.
Against, like,
I hate that she's
body
never
type
dated. I
or
mean, if that's her
anything like that.
choice.
It's funny because for me as a bisexual woman, like what I like in women versus what I like in men is like very different. So men.
Okay, I have a very honest question for you guys. And again, you guys have made me feel like this is a safe space. I have no problem with anyone's sexual orientation, but I have heard the conversation that specifically for women tend to label themselves bisexual if they have a hard time in the male dating pool. Then they kind of open themselves up to women. Not that like in a way that like maybe they never really thought about it before, but because they aren't finding success dating men, they're like, I might as well open up to a woman. And then is that really bisexuality? I've had this conversation in my world. I've heard the conversation, I've seen it on the internet. And I just would love to know what your take is on it. These are women that are expressing they have challenges with their body, and therefore it seems maybe they've had challenges with people finding them attractive. And so I just wonder, do you think they are truly bisexual, or are they bisexual, or are they just into whoever is into them? Like in the way of, well, if a man isn't going to appreciate me, I don't have a problem trying a woman. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope I made sense. I'd love to hear your answer in the comments.
Very much like you. Like dad bods are kind of like
Dad
what I'm
bods.
the most attracted to. I don't want someone like super, super big, but I also don't like super skinny or like super, super buff. Like you have a little muscle, that's fine, but like the really buff guys, like not my thing. But for women, I like way more different kinds of women, like thin, big, like I don't know. I'm just way more attracted, I think, when it comes to different kinds of women. Like when I'm swiping on dating apps, like I'll maybe swipe on like 1 in every 20 men, and like women it's like 1 in 5. Women I just think overall are much more beautiful than men. Like even
And we have better profiles. Let's get this.
yes, that too.
I've never been on a dating profile.
It's okay for models to set a high standard for body image. Will the agreeers please step forward?
It's okay for models to set a high standard
I did some modeling
For
as a
body
kid
image.
and as a teenager, and even now as an adult, I did pinup. There's definitely like a high expectation and standard, especially like in runway modeling and things like that, because they push out these clothing and they only do it in certain sizes. There's standards that different companies have that they want to push out certain things. So like for pinups, they want you to look a certain way, they want you to do your makeup a certain way, they want you to dress a certain way for that style. And same thing for like Victoria's Secret, they want to promote lingerie, and there's a standard for each company and they have to live up to that standard based on what they're trying to promote.
And personally for me, I always looked up to thin people. I always found them very beautiful. I was like, I want to be able to look like a Victoria's Secret model one day. It's okay to have a higher standard of beauty because it makes you want like, oh, I want to work harder on myself to achieve that type of body goal. I might not look exactly like them, like with the hips and everything, but I want to be able to look a healthy version of myself that looks something like that.
I think it's okay for models to have a higher standard of beauty because we are attracted to attractive things. A model is
It's their job.
selling something. They're
Right, it's their
hired
job.
to sell something, and they're going to make it, hey, look at this. Look at the dress I'm wearing. And you as a consumer, you don't want to look at somebody that is going to go, ugh, I don't even want to look at that person. What were they selling?
She's
I don't
so
know.
honest. I love her. She's
More
just very
disagreeers.
honest.
More disagreeers than I expected.
I completely disagree. I think we all forgot what modeling industry has done for women in our society. I think we kind of went blank for a second. I'm a journalism major. I have my degree in journalism, and growing up with certain magazines, and those women, just because they were thin does not mean they were healthy. Have y'all ever seen America's Next Top Model?
Yes.
There's a lot of detriment.
America's Next Top Model was quite literally a hyper bubble of all things toxic in the modeling industry. I think they took things way out of proportion to what it really is. It was a short amount of time and they needed ratings. I'm going to be very honest with you because I know a lot of people that work in the fashion industry, like styling, the PR side, models. And yes, there is some toxicity there. I'm not saying that, but to use America's Top Model as an example is just like, it was so sensationalized, and I think they did that intentionally. That's my opinion. I think I'm confused by the question. It's okay for models to set a high standard for body image. Maybe I'm not confused by it. Maybe it's just so simple that I'm not understanding why they're not agreeing with it. Like a model's job, it doesn't say skinny model, it doesn't say supermodel, it doesn't say fashion model. It just says a model to set a high standard for body image. I think more and more you're starting to see more inclusivity, right? And anything you see with someone modeling it, it's meant to make the product look good. It's meant to make them look good. So you're not going to see someone sloppily dressed. You're not going to see someone dirty shooting with a product, right? Like they're setting a high standard because they want the product to look good and they want you to feel like, oh, I want to buy that so I look just as good in it. Doesn't mean you have to be skinny. I don't know. I think everyone's taking this so emotionally personal, and this is not what's being said. It's okay for models to set a high standard for body image. It is just telling everybody, if you want to look like me, then you know what I mean? Like step up your game. Brush your hair, curl your hair. I don't know, if it's a fishing pole, like then put on your fishing gear. Like it's just setting a I don't know. I struggle with stuff like this. Sometimes I think we read things with the way we want to read it. We see things the way we want to see it. All right, I'm stress eating at this point because this thing is stressing me out.
Mental things that were happening within that society, within that community. And I agree with you, yes, we all want to look at something aesthetically pleasing, but that varies. Also, the modeling industry is known for not being diverse.
Right.
Hello? So I don't know, we just like blacked out for a second.
It's very diverse now.
Now.
It was not when I started.
Yeah, but
was
it's
not.
not that diverse now either. It's evolving, but I wouldn't go as far as saying it's that diverse. But I think that it can be very detrimental as a young woman. I think the body positivity movement kind of was created in juxtaposition because of the modeling industry of the 90s and early 2000s, how toxic that was.
I do think we have come a long way, but we still have like much further to go. The average size of the woman in the United States is a size 16. So why are we not seeing that reflected
Really?
more?
I did not know
on
that.
Runways and modeling and stuff. You know, I also have issues with it when it comes to a lot of plus size modeling too, because a lot of plus size models They have the curves, but they have no belly.
So here's the thing, right? And this is a big argument in plus size modeling that I guess is true. A plus size model, like on a high fashion scale, someone who is like really modeling, because modeling is on a spectrum as well. It's about proportion. So you won't see someone who is perhaps the shape of the three women in the pinup girl, the one in the red and the one in the white dress, shoes, and scarf. They are not what is model proportion appropriate, but they do represent the plus size community. And so I understand what she's saying. It's like, even then they may be bigger, but their stomachs are flat. They are well proportioned. You know, they don't have what women call the fupa, and they don't have like arm, what do they call them? The wings. I think a lot of women call, like my grandmother calls hers her bat wings. Like they are still, there's an aesthetic to it still. It's like, oh, you're big, but kind of feeling, right? It doesn't truly represent the ordinary sized plus size woman, ordinary shaped plus size woman, is what I think she's getting to here. And that is a real thing in the plus size fashion industry. Is like Precious Lee has literally the perfect plus size proportions. If you don't know who Precious Lee is, Google her. She's about 5'11", and her weight is distributed throughout that 5'11". She's a bigger girl. She's curvy. She's got a really big bust, flat stomach, curvy hips. She's shaped like a freaking Coke bottle, but like the liter size. Like, this is probably about to be a spot on conversation right here.
Of plus size models, they have the curves, but they have no belly. And that's so unrealistic for most plus size women, where it's like, most plus size women, if you are a size 20 like I am, you're gonna have a stomach.
She's a 20 and she does not look like a 20.
Yeah. Or they even put padding on smaller models to make them look bigger.
The standards keep changing.
That's not a real model.
How many
A model with a
models
BBL
do
is
they
not a
need to
fashion model.
to show all the different body types that for this to sell one dress?
Sounds like there's a tension between the market. If the data says more
Right.
people clicked on this body, even if it's unrealistic,
Risks.
put that body in the ad.
Yes.
But what you're saying is that's unfair representation of the true customer.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I'll like buy something that I saw on a plus size model who has a flat stomach, and then I put it on, and I'm like, oh, I hate this because it's clinging to like all the wrong parts. I just want to see something that it doesn't have to look exactly like me.
I think for a long time people thought that diversity in sizes wasn't marketable. Like, I can't make money from showing all this diversity of sizes, but I think that there are new brands coming, like Savage X Fenty with Rihanna. She has proven that you can have diverse bodies and you can still market and sell. And let's be real, most
Skims does it
consumers
too.
are not the models. They look different.
Women
That's
should
true.
be fit enough to protect themselves.
Whoa.
Will the agreeers step forward?
Women should be fit enough.
This is something that I always
okay.
say. Listen, no shame to people that are thinner, but I just think you're so vulnerable when you're thin. Like, if you're petite and you're frail and you're not strong enough to fight back, I don't think that's safe for you. I'm a proponent of like building muscle. That way you're sturdy. That way if someone tries to come up on me, they're going to feel something.
Right. I think we shouldn't have to.
Yes.
Like, it sucks that we're in a society that we do, but we have to.
Yes.
You're prone to danger at any moment. Know some punches, know some locks. I don't know. But yeah, definitely stay prepared.
Yeah, as someone who trains kickboxing, boxing, and Muay Thai, at our facility, like, we do offer like.
You know, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. What's new? I find it to be a blessing. Perhaps you can use the word privilege, that I don't typically walk around feeling vulnerable or susceptible. I just, watching stuff like this, I realize how many women really do feel unprotected or just unsafe in the world. And I'm not naive. I'm not saying I've never been in spaces where I don't feel safe, but like on a day-to-day basis, I can move around in my life and my community and feel pretty safe. I think as a mother, I'm way more aware of protecting my cubs than I am like, oh, I need to protect myself. And I don't know, call me stupid. That could be me being completely naive, but And I think the word privilege fits here because economically, right? Like I'm not in a situation where I have to live in an unsafe neighborhood. And I guess if I'm honest, I've never really been. I've never been like, I don't come from privilege. I'm not super rich, but I've always been in neighborhoods that like I could go outside and play safely. I could walk to the store and not be worried about certain violence happening. And there are real people, children, women that do deal with that on a day-to-day basis. And every time I hear something like that, it's jarring to me. But like all of these women feel this way. It's like, I don't know. I just have never continuously felt that way. Like I said, I've been in situations where I'm like, okay, I need to be on guard, right? Duh. But like in my day-to-day life, I move aware, but I don't move on the defense. Call me stupid. I don't know, but I find it so jarring every time I hear women speak like this. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm married. Like I told you guys, my husband is a Division I basketball coach. He's in season right now. The man's never home. He's never home. I'm not saying that because like, oh, I have a husband. And like, no, I guess I'm blessed enough to live in spaces where I feel safe. And I hate that women feel this way. And no one is blaming men. I haven't heard anyone blame men or da-da-da. They were all just simply speaking their truth, which is like they feel like they need to be able to protect themselves. And yeah, there are really bad people out here. And if someone wanted to walk up on me and just gun me down or stab me down, there's probably nothing I could do, whether I have muscles or not, whether I'm overweight or not. But I don't know. That just kind of, I don't know. It knocks me a little bit every time I hear something like this.
At our facility, like we do offer like women's self-defense classes, and like no matter like what body size you are, I highly recommend every single woman to take at least one class just so you know the basics and just like for your own protection.
Well, I got attacked by a dog once when I was on a walk. It came out of this house and it came after me, and I was with a group of friends. Of course, it comes after the big one. Don't get me wrong, but it was scary. I couldn't run away from that problem, but my friends were able to, and that came to my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at cardio. I know what I need to prove more on. You need to be able to carry yourself, pull yourself up, or like, run.
Even for you,
Okay, that's a good point.
An emergency, your kid is swallowing something and it got stuck, or everything around you needs your full potential energy. So yeah, definitely everybody
Okay, these
work
are
on
great
their own pace
points.
and just make
I
sure that
hear
you
them.
work on things that are going to help you and stay safe because it's dangerous.
Not to be an easy target.
Aside from dogs, which has anyone ever been in a situation where they've had to defend themselves?
I can talk about it because it doesn't hurt anymore, but when I was young, I did get molested, and it's fine, I'm over it. I know it wasn't my fault. See, I work with my brain a lot, so for me, I was laying down, and it was more of a like situation where I couldn't move because of everything that was happening around me, and my thoughts were just like, I need to find a way to survive. I need to find a way to push this person from me, and I was 13, so it was like, you know what? Pray. Because there was a cousin sleeping next to me, and I was like, please have her move. Please have her move so I can move. And she did. And as soon as she moved, I found the way to just push him. Like I found the courage to push him off. It came from, I don't know where, but it came. And whatever happened after that. So it is a situation where, as women, we are subject to not just men, but to a lot of people, and where we need to find a way to protect ourselves, and not just us, as we're growing older. Like, we should be showing our children how to and who not to trust instead of judging them, instead of expecting from them. You should be teaching them to find their way and what works for them, to find a courage to save themselves from whatever is going to be a struggle for them in the future.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for sharing that story.
I have abused my body. Will the agreeer step forward?
Personally, for me, I've always suffered with anxiety and depression since I was young. I haven't grown up in the best areas. I used to self-harm in different ways. I suffered with like purging and everything, and like actual like physically cutting myself. Sometimes I even tempted to like burn myself. When I look in the mirror, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? And I was 13, 12, and around this time, I did not like the way I look. I'm not happy right now. And like the only thing I have control of, because I don't have money, I can control what I can do to myself. And it wasn't until like I got older and I started studying mental health, I started studying like different like ways you can take care of yourself with the resources I had. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not the best at my mind right now. And there's other opportunities I can control those bad thoughts. To let them out.
What were some of the tools that were most helpful to you?
Meditation really was a big thing for me. I loved meditating. Whenever I had those, I call it like noise, like those just thoughts in my head, like just talking. And I'm like, close your eyes.
I love her spirit.
Inhale,
She has such a sweet
exhale, and
spirit.
just breathe. Just find your center and calm yourself. That's really helped me a lot.
Addiction is the disease that tells your brain that the problem is the solution.
Whoa,
My biggest
I've never heard
addiction was
anybody
food.
say it that
And
way before.
And you get a serotonin kick. Everybody has a vice because that's something cheap and fast. At some point, you're not a victim anymore. Like, you're actually doing it to yourself. This lifestyle of this and up and down, and how I even abused myself, how I used to talk to myself, and you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you're never enough. Until I changed the way I spoke to myself, did changes ever happen and maintain.
Abuse my body a lot by being an emotional eater. Like, I'm a very emotional person. Actually, I just found out last year that I have BPD. Ever since I was a teenager, I have struggled heavily with depression and suicidal
Bipolar
thoughts,
disorder.
like,
I was
all
like,
the time.
BPD,
Yeah,
bipolar
I
disorder.
have abused
Never
my
heard
body over
anybody
years,
say BPD.
And I'm trying to love myself more, take better care
Do
of
it.
myself.
Don't try. Just do it.
Well, you
tell-
say that, but it can be hard.
Make it easy. Make it easy. Make it.
I love this lady because she's no nonsense. Like, especially, I guess she's done it. She's done it. And she's probably been in their shoes where they kind of make these excuses. Like, no, shut up and do it. And look at what you can do on the other side for yourself. Like, nothing is more infuriating when you have overcome where someone is sitting and you're like, no, you can do it. And like, I love, like, she's no nonsense, but she's actually like their biggest cheerleader. Like, stop saying yeah, but, and shut up and do the work. She's great. I like it.
Make it easy to speak to yourself in a kind way.
Yeah.
I just got upset because you don't want to be on this. You're a gift.
Yeah.
How dare you take that beautiful gift away? How dare you? You're not allowed to do that anymore, okay? You're here.
They're going to be friends.
You have to speak to yourself
They're going to be
kindly.
friends forever.
Be nice to yourself. Your family members, how would they tell somebody else that's speaking to you that way to you? And you do it to yourself, that's not okay. Yeah. You can change it. Make a choice.
Make a choice.
It's gotten a lot better over the years, that I'm much kinder to myself, and I wish I could like tell my younger self to like be kinder.
But you can tell her right now.
Oh,
You can tell that baby right now. She's good enough, and she's nice to
good.
be
What's
here.
her profession? She needs to be a therapist. Yeah, he's crying. That was good.
You a hug.
That was
I
good.
relate to your story so much. I was an emotional eater too. I still am an emotional eater. I'm working on it so much, but like when I was getting bullied in middle school, like I was getting called fat and all these things, and I was literally getting notes handed to me saying that I was like a fat whale. It really messed me up, and it made me attempt suicide a few times.
I hate this.
I was 12 years old, and it wasn't until after I attempted and my family found out, because now I don't think that way anymore. That's why I'm such a huge advocate for mental health, and just
And this, I think, is why it's body positivity. We've just got to be careful with it, because like she said, just because your body isn't what you want it to be right now doesn't mean you have to wake up every day and hate yourself. Just because society doesn't love your body doesn't mean you can't love your body for just waking you up every day and getting you through the day, no matter what. That is the good side of body positivity, no matter what, right? And even if you're bigger and you're unhealthy, that's even more of a reason to thank God that your body is still functioning. Because when you have women, children, anyone that feels they should no longer exist because of their physical shape, It's just heartbreaking. I'm sorry. I think it's heartbreaking. And people who say stuff like that on the internet, I've seen some really horrid things on the internet. It's like, I think the rule of thumb is if you don't want someone saying something to your closest people, friends, family, children, don't say it at all. I don't know what gives people the right to talk to strangers in the nastiest ways, but I just wish we could be a better people, mankind.
Like love yourself. You have to love yourself in order to change things that you want to change.
Yeah.
Luke, I know you haven't spoke, but can I bring in with this?
Yeah.
He's such a like gracious
people
host.
who
His
came
empathy
in,
really is a good
that
name for his
disagrees with this
podcast.
prompt, what are
I think it's called Radical Empathy. He's got radical empathy.
valuable tools
The
or
crying,
resources
come
in
on.
your life to not abuse your body?
I think of like the highest version of myself, and I try to show up as her every single day. When I have dark thoughts or when things are hard, I'm like, okay, the highest version of Alyssa, like she's a baddie, she's disciplined, you know, she loves herself, and I kind of show up as her.
I 100% agree with that. I'm a very big believer in like if you say things out loud and manifest them, then they will come true, because eventually you do end up getting like that mentality switch, right? Like if you wake up and the first thing that you say to yourself like in the mirror is like, I'm ugly, you know? That's what you're gonna go about your entire day believing, you know? But maybe like writing something down, like having it like on the mirror and stuff, and starting every morning like smiling and with like positivity, then you'll carry that energy like through the entire day, the entire week, the entire month, and eventually like your entire life.
If you have a network of people that if you're feeling any kind of emotion or going through anything, having that kind of community to help you figure out how you can go about this without doing some detrimental harm to yourself, I think it's really amazing. And again, a privilege that I was able to have that. And if nothing else, I hope anyone watching this can really see and empathize, and like, you can't just look at someone and be like, oh, they're this and that, or they're lazy, or they don't work hard enough. Like, I think this conversation has just been so illuminating for me, and I hope it's illuminating for everybody.
For me, also, just adding to like what helped me get out of the depression that I had was I sat down and I cried. I would cry in my room and acknowledge
Crying
the
is
things
so
I needed to
therapeutic.
change, even though it was going to cost me. And I had supporters like my family. My sister's my biggest supporter. I love you with all my heart. And you really need to work on yourself. Make a better choice. Change your body if it's necessary, if you can, but be healthy, because we're not getting any better. This world is just gonna get harder. So we need to be healthy and prepared for whatever we need to do, you know? So yeah, work out safely, and you know, everybody, we hope you're healthy for like the longest time, because man.
I definitely agree with like letting out a good cry, because I was an
Yeah,
emotional eater.
I cried a lot.
I was such an emotional eater. Like I held all of my emotions in, and what I would do is I would eat instead of letting that emotion out and recognizing the emotion. And it wasn't until like I let out that cry, I reached out to the people.
Yeah, you
and
reach out for help.
You reach out to the people that you trust and you feel the safest with. And I did that I started to realize like, oh, I need to change this. It isn't healthy to go to the food instead of going to the people. You got to go to your people.
I agree with that. The day after my mom passed, I just came back, literally, I took a plane back to California to be with my family while she was in her coma. And that day I was just like, you know what? My mom's gone. I want to be gone. You know, and the only person I really trust and love and care for and adore is my grandma. She is my rock. And I remember looking at her like, we got home, I'm like, Grandma, I'm done. This is it. And she told me, and this is the only thing that keeps me going till this day, is the moment you're gone, I lost you, I lose your mom, I have no one. And reaching out to my grandma and telling her like, I'm ready to just end it, it made me realize like, if I keep hurting myself, I'm not just hurting myself, I'm hurting the people who love me the most. Making sure like, you know, when you're going through your hard spot, just know like, you're not alone in that. There's people around you who do truly love you, and they want you to reach out to them and tell them like what's going on with you. So I always recommend that. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
It got deep.
What she said, don't ever apologize.
Ever, especially as a woman. Stop apologizing.
I love
Especially as
Thank
a
you all
woman.
so much
Don't ever
for the
apologize.
vulnerability and for sharing your
Wow.
opinions through the discussion. Thank you guys for watching Middle Ground. Subscribe, watch more Middle Ground, listen to Radical Empathy, and leave a positive or thoughtful comment, because these folks are human.
I love him.
That was fantastic.
That was heavy, heavy. It's just so heavy, baby. If you know the name of that movie, first off, you've made it to 1 hour and 14 minutes. You are my people. This was loaded. There was a lot. In the end, got really heavy. You never should want to see people suffering, no matter what they believe that's different than you, how they look that's different than you, where they live that's different than you. That was hard. That was hard to watch. I think in the end, we can all strive to be our best selves so that the love that we feel for ourselves, we can pour out onto others. And I hope you get that here on my channel. All right, sound off in the comments. Be kind. All right, be kind, be kind, be kind, and go and have the day you deserve. Bye.